Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Group Travel Odyssey's Convos with Colleagues. We kicked off our first session last week live on the floor at ABA Marketplace 2022. And today we're going to keep building on our great guest lists and carry in and on throughout the year. So today I'd like to let you all know we have a guest from actually the ABA Marketplace floor who is very excited to tell us what is in store with Visit Detroit. And even more special to this conversation is that Visit Detroit will be hosting ABA Marketplace in 2023. So without further ado, I would like to mention who our special guest is today. It is Miss Jennifer Ollinger from Visit Detroit. Yay! So here's a little bit that I'd like to read to you about Miss Jennifer. She was born and raised in Metro Detroit. Jennifer has never left the city that she loves. She attended Michigan State University, where she earned a hospitality business degree. From there, Jennifer worked for Hilton Hotels in Metro Detroit and started her career at Visit Detroit in 1998. So we've got a seasoned veteran on our hand, folks. She has represented Detroit's tourism product, both domestically and internationally, for over 20 years. Jennifer enjoys spending time with her husband, Patrick, her two kids, Emma and Charlie, as well as her bonus kids that she has, Kyle and Mallory, and dozens of family members who also still today make Metro Detroit their home. So with that being said, everybody, let's give a warm welcome to Jennifer. Yay! Hi, jazz hands.
Hi, yay.
It is so nice to see you again. How are you today, Jennifer?
I'm doing great. Texas was great, but it's so great to be back home.
There we go. Yeah. But it was nice to see each other live in person, face to face, right?
Live in person. I think this is a resilient industry, and just to see the excitement on people's faces, to actually see each other in person was so heartwarming and welcoming. Like, it was great.
Right. It was kind of new for so many of us, even though that yourself and myself, we've been doing this for several years, just a wee bit of time.
Yeah.
It still felt new and energizing, at least for me. How about for yourself?
It did. It's a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long time. We maybe have conversed over email or, over the phone, but I haven't seen a lot of these folks in a long time. And it was kind of like the new normal. Like, what do we do? Like, we're a huggy industry, right? Every time we see people, we're like, hi, it's kind of like, oh, what do we do? But, it never changes. It's like riding a bike. As soon as you get to see those friendly faces of the people you've known throughout the years, it's a family. It was great to be back.
Yeah, there was that comfort level, and ABA and their team, they did a really great job of keeping everybody safe. So there was that comfort level. It was a little smaller, it felt like, but not too much.
Yeah.
And it was really great to, like you said, see folks that we haven't seen, and also meet a lot of new folks, because our industry, as we all know, especially over these last 2 years, has definitely had an evolution.
Yeah, I definitely, it was great seeing what I like to call my OGs, right? The people that have been around for a long time that I haven't seen in a long time, but a lot of fresh new faces that are excited to kind of get involved in the industry, and I think both, whether you've been around for a long time or you're new, or both are needed, bring a lot of energy. And those of us that have been around a long time, hopefully still have a little bit of energy left in us, but, can also bring some of that, knowledge about the industry to the table. So
interesting. So when we talk about the evolution, right, whether it's ourselves as individuals or the marketplace in general, travel and tourism, right? We were talking yesterday, you are definitely a Michigander through and through. You are pure Michigan. And so with your evolution, can you kind of tell us a little bit about how you started out in hospitality and where you kind of come from to where you are now, Jen?
Yeah. So, when I was graduating high school, I needed to get a job to pay for college. And so I went to a local family dining restaurant, got a job as a waitress, and just thought, okay, this is a job that's going to help me pay the bills. I ended up going to Michigan State University, where I studied hospitality business. Go Spartans! And I, there I also did hospitality jobs, working my way through school, not knowing yet that I wanted to be in hospitality. I was a bartender at a local Applebee's, and I loved going to work. It was fun talking to people, and I tried all different kinds of majors. And then one day I took a hospitality 101 class at Michigan State, and they've got a really good hospitality business program there. And I loved it. And I thought, wow, I've kind of been doing this stuff already. And let me, it was easy, but yet it was interesting to me. I loved it. So, ended up graduating with a hospitality business degree. When I graduated, I thought it was kind of interesting. Everyone, in my graduating class at Michigan State was like, I'm going to Hawaii, I'm going to California, I'm going overseas, and I'm going to Troy, Michigan. And everyone looked at me like I was, woo, Troy is a suburb of Detroit, about 30 miles north of the city. But for me, family is super, super important. My whole family is here. I come from a large family. My parents are here. My siblings are here. Now that we're all grown, nieces and nephews, cousins, everybody's here. So it was important for me to stay. And it was a place that I felt like I could really make a difference in Detroit. I wasn't going to be a hospitality number. It was a place that I could really felt like I could make a difference using what I learned at Michigan State and trying to bring that to the table. So I worked in a few Hilton Hotels, Metro Detroit, and then the Convention and Visitors Bureau came calling. At the time, I didn't know what that was. Did some research, made the transition in 1998, and I have been there since. So it's been a great ride.
Wow. Well, and when I'm hearing that you've worked at like hotels and you started in a restaurant, and it's really, you are, the more we talk, the more I understand that you really are part of the fabric of that community. And as we keep saying, the Metro Detroit area, the fact that your family is there, you went to school there, and you didn't leave, and you could have left. To make such an impact in your community is just, it's really overwhelmingly a sense of joy that I feel for you and your fellow Michiganders, because you wanted to make that impact in your community, and that is what you're doing through the time frame that you've been there.
I've seen a lot of things come and go and come back again. I mean, Detroit's had its ups and downs. I mean, we're in a huge trajectory up right now, but I've always felt like Detroit's gotten a bad rap, and people don't really know the real Detroit. And I guess, call it determination, call it, let me prove you wrong. I don't know what you want to call it, but, I'm going to be like, I'll show you, what the real Detroit is like. So, I mean, maybe that's a little bit where I get it from, but
there you go. That's tenacity,
so I just love the city. It's authentic. It's interesting. It's full of lots of, different cultures, people of all ages, a lot of people that have never left, and friendly. I think that's one of the big things people say, like, everyone's so nice there. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, we all kind of know it's like a small, big city almost.
And so with that being said, what keeps you there? Your family's there, the pulse of the community's there. What is it that you want to share with people that you talk about Detroit and bringing people into the area? What is it that you want to share that people should come and see and do and feel from the area?
Yeah, well, one of the things that I think is important is, Detroit has a really rich history. When people talk about, East Coast and, when cities were established, Detroit's been around since 1701, and that's surprising to a lot of people. I mean, we're well over 300 years old. And so because of that, we've got a lot of culture in Detroit, lots of culture, lots of, amazing top-notch museums. We're known for a couple things. I like to say we're known for cars and music, right, in Detroit. So, a music culture that's second to none. I mean, obviously everybody, not everybody, but most people know about Motown and Berry Gordy and the Motown sound that you can kind of come to Detroit and see at the Motown Museum. But we have a rich history of jazz and blues and gospel. Some of the best gospel singers in the world are from Detroit. And, for younger folks, hip hop and techno music, which was started in Detroit in the 1980s. So we have this huge gamut of of musical history that's really intriguing to a lot of people. And, if you're a car buff, there's no better place on earth to come than Detroit. I mean, from museums to events to car shows, 1960s feel of a sock hop at the Woodward Dream. We have over 1 million people that come every year to watch just cars drive up and down the street of all, from the 1950s, 60s, and people take pictures, and it's a fun atmosphere. So, those are some of the big things, but I think the people bring you back here too. We've got a lot of culture in Detroit, from African-American culture. We have a large Latinx population, LGBTQ. We have a large population. We also have the largest Middle Eastern population of anywhere, in the United States, outside the Middle East. So lots of amazing restaurants, culture, museums, and food that relate back to the people that live here. So I think that's really interesting. Not a lot of places can say they have the variety of culture like we do here in Detroit.
Right. And we think of like melting pots, and I have to be honest and say, like, I didn't, as we're talking here today, I can honestly say I've never thought of, oh, well, Detroit is a melting pot. But with everything that you've just kind of shared with us, and I think about all the different cultures that are in that area now, I mean, It really is a place to learn about different people, different foods, different lifestyles.
It's kind of crazy because it's like a lot of things in Detroit. It circles back to the automotive industry. Henry Ford, back in the 1940s, decided to double the wage of his workers, and he was paying a really good wage for honest day's work. So people from all over the world, within 2 months, he had like 10,000 people, at his doorstep. So he was hiring the best of the best. And the great thing about working in the automotive industry is you didn't necessarily have to know how to speak English. You just needed to know how to do your job on the assembly line. So different pockets of different cultures kind of stuck together and resided throughout the Metro Detroit area. And a lot of those still exist today. So it makes it really authentic and interesting.
And you were saying to me, I think it was yesterday too, with some of the, with the revitalization of the community around you. That's a lot of private investors that are really reinvesting in the community that they grew up in and they want to succeed. Is that correct?
Yeah. I think what's interesting, that just shows the testament of how passionate we are about our city. Most of the private investment is from people that lived here, grew up here, made it big. Names like Dan Gilbert, who owned Quicken Loans, the Ford family, who, they're still prevalent in our area. The Illich family, if you're not familiar with them, they own Little Caesars Pizza. That was born here in Detroit in the 1950s. And their family owns 2 of our sports teams actually here in Detroit. But so it's people that are born and raised and bred Detroiters that are investing back in the city. So I think that's exciting. It's not foreign investment, or not a lot of foreign investment, but it's Detroiters that made it big and want to make a difference in their city.
Well, and I know you had mentioned too that, once you convince people to come, right, then they're in it and they're experience it and they love it and they're glad that they came. What are some of those cultural gems that you really like to make sure? I mean, I'm sure there is so much there, but some things that are a cultural gem that you just can't wait to always let people know that they must see.
Yeah. It's funny. You're right. The hardest part of my job is just convincing you to come to Detroit. Once you get here, I'm like, my job is done, because I know the city is going to sell itself. Right. So I think some of the most, must-see things to do when you're here, hands down, the Henry Ford Museum. They're located in Dearborn, which is about 10 miles outside the city, but it's Henry Ford's sort of personal collection of everything Americana, including amazing artifacts like the Rosa Parks bus. This was a bus that was found in Montgomery, Alabama, that was literally sold off and was somebody privately owned, and it was sitting in a field, and at one time acted as a chicken coop, right? This bus that had crazy, right? And
that's crazy.
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 They were able to authenticate the bus based on the bus number that was engraved on it, and referencing that with various articles from the day that Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat. The Henry Ford won a bid to bring them the bus to Detroit, which was really important to us because Rosa Parks was a long time citizen of Detroit, and so once we got it here, it was in horrible shape. I mean, former chicken coop, you could just imagine how it smelled, how it looked.
Thanks for that visual and sensory moment.
But to see it now, I mean, it was restored exactly to how it was, the day that she did not give up her seat. Rosa Parks herself had a lot of input as to how the bus was presented. She actually tells her story, and you can sit in her seat to hear about that. I mean, there's not many places that you can get such an authentic experience like that. And it's just one of the amazing exhibits at the Henry Ford. I mean, it's truly very moving. It's a powerful experience.
And that's something that, for those folks that are tuning in, like, you can't get that anywhere else.
Right.
Only there at the Henry Ford Museum.
Henry Ford Museum. Right next to it is a Greenfield Village, which is a 90-acre historic village. Henry Ford was a collector not only of things, but of buildings. So historic buildings that had some sort of historical reference to them. One of those was the Menlo Park Laboratory that was owned by Thomas Edison. Him and Thomas Edison were really good friends. And Henry Ford said, one of these days, I'm going to get your Menlo Park Laboratory, the laboratory where he perfected the light bulb. I'm going to get that, in Greenfield Village. He's like, my laboratory will never leave New Jersey soil, so don't even think about it. So what did Henry Ford, right? Don't even think about it. What did Henry Ford do? He got some train cargo of dirt from New Jersey, brought it to Greenfield Village, laid it as the foundation, and moved that laboratory from New Jersey to Greenfield Village, just outside, in Dearborn, just outside Detroit. So the building is on New Jersey soil, but in Michigan. And you can hear a costume presenter tell you, about the laboratory, about Thomas Edison's life. It's a really magical place. I mean, there's a lot of history woven into entertainment, but it's truly a gem that you don't want to miss if you're here in Detroit.
And did you say that was, how many acres was that?
It's a 90-acre village with over 80 historic structures. There's a steam locomotive train. There's authentic Model T rides, a working farm. It's great.
So really, for folks coming to that area, I'm hearing in itself, between just those two experiences, that's definitely 2 days.
Oh, it's easily, yeah. I mean, to do the museum, the village, it's also connected to one of the only factory tours that you can take in Michigan to see a Ford car being built. So again, ties the whole automotive thing together.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And that is really what brought Detroit, or put Detroit on the map then. Is that correct in saying that?
Yeah, it really did. Like I said, I mean, Henry Ford, had his vision, and he's from here, and, he attracted people from all over the world to come work for Ford Motor Company. And because of that, you had a lot of other entrepreneurs that were building cars too. The Oldsmobile brothers from Flint, and you've got the Dodge brothers, that started, Chrysler is also here with General Motors. So, I mean, there's a lot of car history throughout the entire city. So if you like that, or even just history in general, I mean, Detroit is a really interesting place to come.
Right. It sounds just so robust in all the different experiences that you can take in while you're there. And I think everything that you're telling me, it's once again, it's a reminder of the entrepreneurial spirit that has kind of been in Detroit forever, right? That spirit hasn't gone away, especially with the revitalization and everything that we've touched on, and the philanthropy that goes on there. Yeah. And then also, the music that you keep talking about from Motown, right? It's just it's kind of like just those three things alone are the trifecta of the area. And they know that there's so much more.
Yeah. It's with Motown, all of the Motown singers that everybody has grown to know and love, Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross, Temptations, Four Tops, Smokey Robinson, all of them lived in Detroit and live within a 5-mile radius of the Motown Historical Museum, where Berry Gordy converted this house in the middle of the neighborhood into a studio. His dad was a carpenter and changed the garage area into the recording studio, which later became known as the Snake Pit, because you can imagine the Snake Pit back in the day, when musicians, would smoke, and it was like this smoky pit where people would come in and sing, and once they opened, they never closed their doors. People sang and recorded there at all times of the day. But all of that Motown talent was found just miles from where it all was recorded here in Detroit. So, people find it very interesting that, not most of the artists that made up Motown, were from here, which just gives a testament to the musical talent we have.
It's fascinating to think about, because not just from that area, but like right there.
Yeah. People would like sing on the corner where Motown is, just hoping that they would get discovered, and even people like Mary Wells came in and was a receptionist just so she could get her foot in the door at Motown, so it's a really great place too. What I love about Motown Museum when you come, and right now they are going through an expansion and renovation, so they'll reopen this summer, but they a lot of it is about the stories. You can read all you want about, music and this record hit platinum or that record, but the stories that they tell there about the Motown performers, about Berry Gordy, how Motown began, that's what really makes it a special place.
So I have to ask, do you sing?
No.
Oh my God,
no.
I didn't catch you when you were drinking water. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. I do not sing. Maybe in the shower I might sound okay, but I do not sing. Nobody wants to hear that right now. But I wish I did, but I do not. And but everybody, when you go in to take the tour, it's a sing along too. So if you're a fan of Motown music, you're singing throughout the entire tour. So as long as there's other people around me, I have no problem trying to sing.
Oh, okay. As long as it's a group sing.
There you go. Yeah. If I was like a member of the Supremes or something, and the other two people could carry me, I'm okay with that.
There you go. Well, I'm with you then. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Believe me, I'm not a singer. I know my role is backup dancer all day.
I
know that.
Love it.
So I do want to ask though too, when it comes to cars, right? With that being the mecca of the automotive industry, what was your first car?
Oh my goodness. So my first car was it was a 1984 Grand Prix, and it was like this big boat of a car. And the interior was, so my friends nicknamed this car Ultra Plush because of how luxe the inside, everything seemed padded on the inside. So my car had a nickname called Ultra Plush, and it was this big black boat. And I shared the car with my sister. I have a twin sister, and so we were the same age. So we would both drive this car, but it had a nickname. It was called Ultra Plush. It was a 1984 Grand Prix. So,
and you said it was the color was black.
Yeah, black with a maroon interior, like velvety, interior. It was.
Oh,
so
you're
funny.
painting a picture.
Yeah, velvety.
You and your blonde hair coming down in the Ultra Plush.
Ultra Plush, yeah. It had a nickname. Everyone's like, "This car is Ultra Plush." We're like, "That's the name of it. It's Ultra Plush." Yeah.
Is that around anywhere now, or is it out to pasture?
It's out to pasture. I'm not quite sure where it resides now, but that was my first car. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Well, you were saying about being an original OG. I would love to see you with that car.
Yeah. It was a great car, and it kind of was one of those that nowadays would be like one of those pimp my rides. Like people would absolutely love that car because it just has that look where you can put some big tires on it, and
Nice.
but it got us to and from school and was great, to and from the restaurant to the waitress, and so
it did what it needed to do, but it was beyond that because it was ultra plush.
It was ultra plush. It was great.
And I did want to let folks know I have popped Jennifer's email up on the screen for folks, because anything that you need from the Visit Detroit area, I hope you can see right now from everything that Jen has shared with us that she really is all about making an impact in her area and bringing folks to Detroit. And especially if you need any tips on, how to, pimp out your ride?
Yeah.
That.
that I can do, or at least, give you tips on, how to drive a ultra plush 1984 Grand Prix car.
Oh my gosh. So being from that area though, gosh, can you share with us maybe one of your favorite or most endearing moments of when maybe you were growing up, or something that just holds your heart about the city?
Yeah. So, growing up, we came to the city occasionally. My dad had a business in the city, but I'm a big sports fan, and so I remember coming down as a kid with my parents to the old Tiger Stadium, which is no longer exists in its current form. However, it is still a baseball field, and it was sort of redone and refurbished, and it's now for PAL, which is our Police Athletic League youth baseball program. So the original flagpole is still out in the outfield from the original Tiger Stadium is there. But those were some of the great memories that I have. Food wise too, Detroit is kind of known for, I guess not the healthiest food, but Coney Island hot dogs, which we call Coney Island hot dogs. Everyone says, well, that does not come from New York. And it's like, no, it was two brothers from Coney Island that came to Detroit, and they opened competing restaurants that make it's a hot dog with chili, onions, and mustard on it. And so growing up, that's, you kind of went to Coney Island afterward. They have a hot dog, and, those are some of my big memories. Of the city. Always being on the water by the river. We'd take boat rides to, there was a amusement park called Bobolo Island. It was an island amusement park that you took this big boat on to, it was like a big paddle wheeler, and they had a DJ, and I would dance with my cousins and my sisters and my friends all the way there. And then once we got there, it was like, we're at the amusement park, and, we would do everything all day, and then we were exhausted, but we'd go home on the boat ride, and the DJ would come on again, and we'd just be dancing. And so it was, those are some of the best memories I have as a kid. But I've been downtown working now for 24 years, so I've seen a lot of things come and go. But the trajectory of the city right now is just straight up. It's amazing.
Sky's the limit, right?
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of what's to come, we know that throughout however many years it's been, I'm sure you'll be able to tell us, you've been really working hard to bring a show to the magnitude of ABA back to, or for the first ever, right, to Detroit. Yeah. Is that correct?
That is correct. So, ABA, this will be the first time in 18 years that we've hosted a major industry show for the group tour market in Detroit. The last time that we hosted was NTA, which was back in 2005. The timing of the shows for the industry has always been a little bit of an issue for us in Detroit, because for the longest time, and we're talking decades and decades, we hosted the North American International Auto Show every January. And the load-in time to set up for that show and the breakdown time to this is disassemble the show, really took 3 months of our calendar year out of us booking our the convention center here in Detroit,
Right.
which is always when ABA landed.
And that's a lot. That's a quarter of a year.
Yeah, and so we've never really had the available space to host ABA, but with changing times, right? The automotive industry has evolved, and they decided, with all the new technology that's around, to move our auto show now to September to better help display and have people experience things like autonomous driving. So, our auto show is not confined to a convention center anymore. It's more going to be like a festival that not only has the auto show kind of traditional component to it, but there'll be concerts and ride and drives and all sorts of interactive things in September, which is great for us because it helps to kind of open up the auto show to, not just inside a convention center, but the outdoors as well. So you'll be able to test drive cars and all that kind of good stuff. But for us, it opened up the month that ABA normally comes to town to be able to host it. So we were, it's a win-win. We have a bigger and better auto show coming, and we get to host ABA next year in 2023.
It's so fascinating to me to hear you talk about the auto show and the magnitude of everything that it is. Yeah. And now with it moving to September, it sounds like it's even going to be even more grand. Yeah. And now you get to bring ABA, travel and tourism, to your destination. What does that mean to you after all of this time of being with Visit Detroit, knowing that, boom, now you're going to have a show like ABA in 2023?
It's amazing. Like everything that we've kind of worked toward. I'm so excited for people to come and see the city. There's so many new businesses, new bars, new restaurants, new hotels, new buildings, Detroit has really come a long way. Even if you were in Detroit in 2005 for NTA, I think that you'll be surprised at everything the city has to offer. We are not afraid to be hosting anything in January. I know some people are like, it's going to be so cold. And we like to say, there's no bad weather, just bad clothes, right? Bring the right clothes and you'll be fine. And so, we're just excited. We hosted Super Bowl one year in February. So if we can pull off Super Bowl in February in Detroit, we're excited to kind of bring that same hospitality and excitement for when ABA is here.
Well, I have no doubt that you'll deliver, especially with the fact that you had said to me at another time, or earlier time, that Detroit and Visit Detroit is much more than heads and beds.
Yeah,
it's really about the stewardship and bringing people to your area and all over. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've really over the past year, and we hate that term, heads and beds. It just sounds so
cold.
We really want people to come and experience the city, but not only that, experience our small businesses, our minority-owned businesses. We really, in our tourism promotion, want to figure out what we do, how we can make an impact on our city, in the things that we do and the folks that we bring. How can we help with small business owners, make sure that they continue on? It hasn't been tough for anybody over the past, couple years. And our restaurants that are family owned that are in the city, how can we bring groups like ABA that help to populate, their restaurants to get, people trying amazing food done by family special recipes that you can come into the city and find. I think one thing you'll find too is in Detroit, we don't have there's not a lot of chain things to see, restaurants in Detroit. It's a lot of mom and pop entrepreneurs, people that have always wanted to open a restaurant, but maybe couldn't do it in a more expensive city, and decided, I can, lay my roots in Detroit and I can actually make my dreams work there. So, I'm excited for everybody to see that. Everyone's excited for you to come to the city. most people that you run into on the streets are from here. You're not going to run into a lot of, we are starting to get a lot of transplants, but it's people that I've bought into. Wow, feels like a family living in the city. So we're excited to have everybody.
Well, it sounds like the community really embraces the fact that they want people to come. They want people to see what Detroit is all about. And the fact that it sounds like from when you're talking that it is a year-round destination.
It truly is. I mean, even from a city standpoint, I mean, whether it's sports that you like, I mean, we've got 4 professional sports teams. So believe it or not, play within 4. So we call it the 5-4-3. 5-4-3.
Okay. All right, we're learning 5-4-3.
Yeah. So we've got within 5 blocks.
5 blocks.
We've got 4 professional sports teams that play in 3 different arenas. So we've got 3 major arenas: Ford Field, which is our football team, Comerica Park, our baseball team, and Little Caesars Arena that has a hockey and basketball teams that play there, all within 5 blocks of each other. So we have the most dense sports district of any city in the United States. Ooh. So yeah, I mean, and for those that haven't been in a while, our newest stadium, Little Caesars Arena, has only been around since 2015. So I mean, it's still quite new. So whether it's sports you want to come for in the wintertime, we've got year-round sports, bars, restaurants, festivals. I mean, we're constantly celebrating something here in Detroit. So we love that. In just overall, Michigan is a all season destination. So come in for a little bit of taste of city, dining and entertainment, but we've got some spectacular things to see throughout the entire state. So
I really think that with everything that you've shared, and I haven't had the pleasure of being up in that area in quite some time, and I'm so excited to come back, and I hope it actually is before the ABA conference. Yeah. But if not, I mean, just to kind of recap, right, we're hearing about the once again, the automotive industry is big, but that so many folks there in the area, privately owned, are giving back to the revitalization of the area. All of the history and the entrepreneurial spirit that's there. We talked about the music, which I'm sure you could go on and on about.
Yeah.
And the different cultures and the food and the festivals. Yeah. It's just so intriguing to me that whether folks that are listening in are working with groups or individuals or just want to bring their own family there, that there is so much to do. And I have your email up on the screen so folks can to reach out to you at any point, but even so they know that they can go to visitdetroit.com to learn more and more about your area. It's really overwhelming to me to think that there's so much. And I'm so excited that we had this time together. Yeah. But another question that I didn't ask you, though, was now that I've learned about the density of the sports that take place up there. Yeah. And I know your son is very much into sports, anything that has a ball.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite sport then?
Oh, my goodness. So I like different sports for different reasons, right? Okay. So I like going to baseball games with friends because it's one of those things that you can pay attention and really kind of watch the game, but also have time to converse and not worry that you're going to be missing a lot, right? So
that socialization.
It's more of a social event. Detroit, I mean, we're known as Hockey Town USA, I think, more so than any big city in the U.S. Like our friends in Canada, like they're hockey crazy, but we're very hockey crazy here in Detroit too. But I'm a big football fan. I think football is actually my favorite. Unfortunately, our team hasn't been the greatest over the years, but you know what? That's okay. We still sell at the stadium. I think people still love to come and support us. I think in a lot of ways, our football team is an underdog. For the long time, Detroit was an underdog. We're coming back. Hopefully our football team can take a page out of our playbook and but I think that I'd have to say probably football is my favorite. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like to me, right, that with the people in your area and getting to spend more time with you, is that no one gives up. Everybody that's there in Detroit is there to win.
Yeah.
Right?
It's funny
You're there to win.
It's funny that you say that because you'll see everywhere around the city right now. It's nothing stops Detroit. Like nothing's gonna stop us. Like we've had some troubles in the past. Not gonna stop us. A pandemic. It's not gonna stop us. So nothing stops Detroit. It's our mantra right now around the city. So
love it. Nothing stops Detroit. And I've heard as of late. I didn't realize this that any good mantra has three words.
Oh,
so nothing stops Detroit. I mean, look you're winning in that category too.
There you go. Yes.
Well, with that being said, is there anything that you'd like to leave us with today? Because we greatly appreciate you blocking some time for us. And I'd like to think that maybe your son, Charlie, maybe we'll see him playing some football, in the Super Bowl in years to come.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
Football?
Yes, love football. My husband for sure would love that. That's for sure. But I just think that I want to leave with everybody that give Detroit a chance. I think that you'll be so surprised by everything that we have to see and do in the city. The people are friendly. The amount of product that we have for groups or to do is just off the charts. We're easy to get to, and we're so excited to be hosting ABA next year in 2023.
I think it's going to be a rock star year for you.
I hope so. Yeah.
It will be. It will be. And you've got the killer headset.
Right? I know. I stole these from my husband. So
rock star. So
yeah,
we're going to visit Detroit. We're going to reach out to Jennifer, everyone. If you have any questions at all, she is so happy to help. I think that you've seen from today that she is such a gracious hostess, and we're not even there yet. So please contact her. Consider Detroit if you haven't before, because clearly there's much more than any of us have realized that is there, including Jennifer.
Oh, thank you. It's been so great with being a guest today. And again, for anybody that needs anything, just please reach out. And thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. It's been our pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, have a great day, Jennifer.
Thank
and
you,
everybody else out there. Stay safe, and we'll talk next Tuesday.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.